All right, first graders, this is your final step for your snowy landscape project. So what you're going to need to do now is you're going to need to rip out your purple and blue sky background paper. So again, holding your art book, starting at the top, very carefully you can do it. Tug this all the way out. Okay. Then you can close your art book, set it off to the side. All right, we'll trim this part off at the end, I think. Let me think. Or we could put it at the bottom. Yeah, we'll just trim this off at the end. Okay, so here is your art book paper, purple and brown. And what we're going to do now is you're going to need your background. You are going to need your hills. So that's 1, 2. Your moon is 3. And then your 2 trees. Okay, so 5 pieces all together. You're also going to need a glue bottle. So we're going to talk about glue since we haven't glued yet. First thing we are going to glue down is one of the hills. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of set it up, that first hill, making sure that your paper is the horizontal way and that your hill is lined up. Now if you have any pencil marks, like right here I have some marker marks, I don't want to see those. So I'm going to make sure that that's on the back and that the corner lines up with the bottom of the paper, and the side paper matches. Okay. So I'm going to clear a space. So I have my pile of stuff over here. I am going to make sure that when I glue, I don't glue with my work on top of my background paper in case I make a little mess. I don't want any extra glue on my background paper. I am going to make sure that this piece is just right on the table. So glue bottles. Opening your glue bottle. Right now my glue bottle is closed, and you can tell because there's a little white dot at the top, and then the orange part of the cap is touching the white part of the cap. So to open your glue bottle, you gotta twist, and that white dot disappears. It goes down, and then there's a big gap between the orange part of your cap and the white part of your cap. So when we glue, I like to give my glue bottle a little shake so that all the glue comes down towards the orange cap. When we glue, I want you to make sure that your glue bottle is touching your paper. You shouldn't be gluing from all the way up here and squeezing the glue bottle. You want it to be touching the paper. And what we're going to do, and let me just scooch some things over so that you can see a little bit better. There we go. What we're going to do is I want you to watch me first, and you're going to kind of like outlining, but don't be too close to the edge. We don't want it to be right on the edge because that glue kind of squishes out and makes it really messy. So we want to come in a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and go all the way around our shape. And squeezing at the same time, go right into there. Okay. And then what I like to do, especially with big pieces like this, I like to put an X right in the middle. Okay. And notice how one hand is squeezing the glue bottle and the other hand is holding the paper. I know sometimes glue bottles get clogged and it's easier to hold 2 hands, but try to just use one. It's important to hold that paper so your piece of paper doesn't move around. After you do that, what I like my students to do, because this helps disperse, this helps spread the glue around, like when you take your finger and you even it out, you just spread the glue around a little bit so that it's not too globbed up towards the edges. and then you can spread it around in the middle a little bit more. I know this is sticky, glue is sticky and cold, but something we gotta try. And then after you spread it all the way around, you could have, a little piece of paper towel next to you to wipe your finger, or here's a really easy way. If you just rub your hands really fast together, that glue peels off really easy, and then you can continue working. If you were in my art class, that's how we do. So now what you're going to do is very carefully flip it over, line it up first, make sure that it's right where you want it to be before you hold it down. I'm going to go ahead and push down. And I spend a lot of time pushing all the edges down. I move my hands around. This is a really important part to gluing, so taking your time. Usually I have my students count 10 Mississippis. 1 Mississippi, 2, like that. I'm about there right now. But just making sure you really press down. Ooh, looks like a little sledding hill. Ooh, it's exciting. Okay, now what you're going to do is I'm going to have you grab your moon. And again, you can see my marker marks. You'll probably see some of your pencil marks. We want to glue on top of that side. We don't want to see those marks on our artwork. So when you're gluing, glue on the side that has more of the pencil marks, all of the pencil marks. Same thing, you're going to go around the edge, and some of you have teeny tiny moons, so you don't have to add too much glue. You might not even have to add an X in the middle. I know it's a little hard to see because I'm gluing on white paper. Hopefully you can see that okay. But then make sure that you spread the glue around. And then any extra glue. You don't want too much glue, but you don't want not enough glue either. So that's kind of something we figure out. So you can put the moon anywhere you want in the sky. Just be aware that when you lay your trees down, your trees might cover some of the moon. So that's okay. That's kind of makes it realistic. So I'm going to put my moon right here, and then again, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. We'll just do 5 because it's such a tiny piece. Okay, so there's my hill and there's my moon. I am going to go ahead and grab a tree. So pick one of your trees and flip it over, because we don't want to glue on the brown side, we want to glue on the white side. Trees are a little trickier because we got lots of branches going on, but what I'm going to have you do this time is you're not going to outline the whole thing. We're just going to put a line on each one of the branches in the trunk. So I'm going to start at the bottom on the trunk, and I'm just going to do a line going all the way up to the top. I'm going to do another line going off that trunk. Here's another line. Just doing a line right in the middle of each one of the branches. And again, you don't want too much, don't want too little, especially if you have teeny tiny branches. You don't want a lot. Okay. All right, so after you do that, then you're going to take that finger and you're going to spread it around. Really even it out along the whole surface. You see any large globs, you just want to smooth it out. Okay, so some of you might have put a little bit too much glue on those thinner branches, and that's okay, but just be careful not to do that. Again, if you have extra glue on your fingers, I want you to do this. Peel that glue, it just peels right off. We can wash our hands after this whole thing is done, but let's get all the gluing done first. Then you're going to very carefully, this one's going to be tricky. So flipping it over, it's going to be fun. I'm going to have you go ahead and lay it down. Find a spot for it. If it goes off your paper a little bit, that's okay. But try to get that tree on your paper and then push it down. We'll trim off this frilly stuff at the end or once our paper dries. So carefully. Yeah, if some branches go off, that's okay. Kind of looks cool. So because I had some extra glue, it's kind of squishing out of the edges. So right now I'm just going around and I'm just tapping all the branches, making sure they're glued down flat. Okay. All right, there's a tree. Okay, we have 2 more pieces left. So next, you are going to do your hill. So I'm just going to show you first before I glue it. Your hill's going to go right in front of this tree. It kind of gives it a little perspective. So this tree is a little further away. It's behind this hill. So this is where your other hill is going to go. So I like to try to kind of double check before I glue it down. So I'm looking at my pencil, the side with the pencil lines. Alrighty, so edges, not too much. Stay along the edge, not too close to the edge. And a nice X in the middle in the larger area. Again, take that finger and spread that glue around. Okay. All right, extra glue on your hands. Ah. Wipe it off. And then go ahead and flip that hill over. Line it up first before you hold it down. Make sure it's right where you want it to be. And then you can go ahead and kind of push areas down a little bit. Take your time right here. Okay. And then last is the last tree. So I'm going to double check and kind of make sure my tree is going to go before I glue it down. And you know, if your tree overlaps a little bit right here, like overlaps your other tree, that's okay. That's what trees do. So just makes it a little more realistic. And if it goes off the page a little bit, that's okay too. All right. So I think that's where I'm going to put it. So same thing as we did last time. Take that glue bottle, make sure it's touching the paper. I'm going to go all the way up. And then remember on those really thin branches, don't put too much glue. Just a little line, not too much. Okay. Alrighty, and then take that finger and just spread that glue out a little bit. If you get some glue on your table, that's okay. We'll clean it up at the end. I'm just going around. Yeah, a little glue goes a long way. All right, the last time we got to do this, that glue that gets on your finger. I know this part's kind of annoying, but there we go. Okay, so very carefully, try your best, flip this over. Remember where you set it up. About right here. Okay, and then carefully make sure it's where you want to be and then start pushing it down. All right. Okay, friends. Woohoo! There is our snowy landscape. So if we have some extra time, what you could do, first graders, is grab a pair of scissors, and let's just do this right now. We're just going to trim off just that little extra frilly stuff that connects this paper to the art book. Let's get that off. Okay, and here is your snowy landscape. So you created a picture of the outside. Good job, everybody. Can't wait to see your finished work.